That is quite possibly the best fourth quarter performance I have seen in a very, very long time from Nikola Jokic. I'm not even going to lie to you, I didn't see the first three quarters, and I think someone was telling me something because I wake up just as Nikola Jokic checks into the fourth quarter of this game, and from that point onwards, I mean, I'm scratching my eye not because I'm tearing up, but it does bring a tear to my eye just thinking about how good that performance was. Truly masterful. I don't know how they didn't end up winning on the back of that. It was something like I just haven't seen before. It was absolutely absurd what he did, and we're going to talk about that. But I just want to quickly talk about how people wanted to say this guy wasn't an MVP level player because he had one bad game against the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, one bad game. You're not allowed one bad game a season against the best defense in basketball. I didn't watch the game, I'm not going to lie, so I don't know how well or how badly he played. I just assume he had a poor shooting night and maybe he had a couple of turnovers. I didn't watch the game. I just heard people saying that he's not a superstar player. Yes, there was genuinely people saying that. Oh, he's a good player, like a really good player, but he's not a superstar player. Now, he is. Like, he led his team to the Western Conference Finals. He's broken records as a center. He's the best passing big of all time. He's averaging around 26 and 10 at the moment. He's one of the best fourth quarter scorers in the NBA. He's the only reason the Denver Nuggets are above 500. It has been the only reason they've been above 500 for 3 consecutive years, leading them to top 2 seeds. No, he's a superstar. He's a superstar. Now, he might not be LeBron James, but if that's the only way you categorize a superstar player, well, then that's up to you. But what he is an MVP level candidate, the best center in the NBA, the best passing big man of all time, and someone who can put up like 25 points in the last quarter. I'm going to go through the play-by-play because I pretty much remember all of the shots, but I just want to make sure I don't miss any shots because from backing down Rashawn Holmes and hitting mid-range jumpers over him to hitting a banked 3 at the end, it's like what are you doing? What are you doing hitting that banked 3 shot? I don't even know if it was on purpose or not, but the angle suggests like there's a chance from that angle it could have been on purpose. Probably not, but you give him the benefit of the doubt because he hit every other shot and he didn't miss throughout the fourth quarter. They don't keep the same energy with Jokic that they do with Embiid. I'm like, who cares? I've had enough of these people. Why do you care so much about the comparisons between Embiid and Jokic? Embiid's been fantastic this year. Like, we don't need to compare them. Basically, just look at Jokic and look at what he's doing. He's having an MVP level year. He would be my number one on the ballot. I don't care if he had one poor game against the Lakers. One bad game. It's ridiculous. But anyways, getting back to this game because, like I said, I missed the first 3 quarters. And normally, I wouldn't make a video on a game where I missed 3 quarters because, yeah, that's 75% of the game. But I don't think it is 75% of the game because quarters aren't made equally. I mean, they are, but like quarters aren't made equally when you have Jokic putting up 25 in the last quarter and not missing a shot and rocking the baby on pretty much everyone in the Sacramento Kings team. It was truly special. What I gather is MPJ struggled. In the time I was watching, I think he only missed a 3 and a free throw, but apparently he went 3 of 11, I think, missed quite a lot of open shots, didn't play good defense at all. That was a big note from me in the fourth quarter against De'Aaron Fox when he was on the floor. Like, this is a solid Kings team, so don't get too disheartened, Nuggets fans. This is a pretty good Kings team, but at the same time, I know the guard defense was missing. No Gary Harris, no PJ Dozier, no Jamal Murray, but at the same time, they were just getting absolutely blown by De'Aaron Fox, which he does to the best of people, but at the same time, there was absolutely no resistance. I heard RJ Hampton had a pretty good game. He didn't do too much in the fourth quarter because he wasn't really on the floor, but yeah, that's what I heard from the first 3 quarters. They weren't hitting their shots. The likes of Michael Porter Jr. wasn't hitting his shots, and what I saw was there wasn't too much guard defense being played. Harrison Barnes had like 30 points, which is ridiculous. Just wasn't too much defense being played, which has been the issue for the Nuggets. I've talked about that. I'm not going to get into a Nuggets rant because I've made my thoughts very clear about the ceiling of the team. I just want to talk about Nikola Jokic and him dropping one of the best fourth quarters I've seen in my life. It just makes me think back to when there was a time where the media, yes, the media, in brackets, whatever you want to call them, thought that the Denver Nuggets didn't have a go-to scorer. They didn't have someone you could pass the ball in the clutch. That's the reason they couldn't make it past the first round or the second round of the playoffs because who are you giving the ball to in the clutch that's going to score over Kawhi Leonard, Paul George? And I was thinking there, I'm like, 2 years straight, he's been one of the best players in the league, an MVP candidate for 2 years straight, leading his team to a top seed for a couple of years straight, best passing big man of all time, Serbian, 7 foot, this big guy who's got all the fundamentals. He'll hit a floater, he'll hit a mid-range shot, he'll hit a 3-point shot, he'll hit you with a hook shot, he'll hit you with a layup, he'll back you down, he'll take you out to the perimeter. This was the guy that was in my head. I can't quite think of him now. Not Bielitsa. No, not Marjanovic. I don't know, but yeah, there was that dude who was on the Nuggets for a couple of years straight when they were saying that they didn't have a closer. Like, he's a solid closer, like one of the best in the league for 2 consecutive years, efficient, puts up 50% from the field, good assist-to-turnover ratio for 2 consecutive years, one of the best scorers in the league during clutch time situations, one of the best scorers in the league when he needs to get a bucket, and now that's transferred into this year where he's the 3rd best scorer in the league during clutch time situations, shooting 49%. That's not even counting for this game where, well, I mean, he put up so many points in the last 5 minutes that it'll probably just inflate his numbers to numbers that will take him to first of the pile. But yeah, at the time, I just couldn't think of who would be the closer for this Denver Nuggets team. Who is that skilled center that can do everything? Yeah, it's Nikola Jokic. Okay, kidding aside, Nikola Jokic has been one of the best closers for 3 years. People are finally realizing it now. I don't know why it took them 3 years to realize it. Probably they weren't watching the Denver Nuggets. That's why. But I just want to go through some of the play-by-play because it's just fun. At 10 minutes, 51 seconds, Nikola Jokic enters the game. The Denver Nuggets are trailing by 11 points to the Sacramento Kings. He goes on to make a 10-foot jumper. 40 seconds later, Will Barton misses a jump shot. Jokic gets an offensive rebound, fakes out Hassan Whiteside, and puts it over him. I remember that because Hassan Whiteside called him a baby on the other end for some reason, even though Hassan Whiteside gets 15 minutes a game and Jokic was already on like 25 points at this point in time, or even 30 at this point in time, and he had the audacity to call him a baby. I don't know. Trash players like to talk trash. I guess it makes sense. But anyways, Hassan Whiteside did that. Then we go down the other ends. Jokic assists a JaMychal Green 3-point shot. Basically, I don't need to go through it all, but apart from JaMychal Green's 3-point shot, MPJ's 1 free throw, Will Barton's 2 free throws, and Monte Morris floater, the 4th quarter, Jokic scored all of their points. And I think he missed 1 shot, I believe. Maybe 1 shot. He hit you with post moves. He hit you with a mid-range jump shot, 2 consecutive threes when the game looked over. The Kings announcers were talking about just find Nikola Jokic. He hits a 3-point shot and then he glasses it. He hits it off the bank. He did absolutely everything. I also saw a stat that the Nuggets' net rating with him on the floor against the Sacramento Kings was 2.3 positive. With him off the floor, it was negative 52.6. Don't ask me how that works. I just saw the stat. I mean, he did play 41 minutes, so like, I don't know how it works, but basically they suck with him off the floor, which is news to me. No, it's not. Everyone knows that. They suck without him on the floor, even without Jamal Murray. I mean, you got to give them some kind of slack because Jamal Murray would normally be taking some of that offensive load, that creation load, so they didn't have him, but at the same time, plus 2.3, negative 52.6. I mean, the dude dropped a 50-point near triple-double. I don't know what to say about this guy anymore. Honestly, I didn't really have anything planned for this video. It's just when I see Nikola Jokic drop 50 points, including over 20 points on like 9 of 10 in the last quarter, where he only missed that 1 shot at the end because he airballed a 3 because there was like 2 seconds left on the clock and he took a deep 3 that he wasn't set for. After making the 2 threes and a mid-range jump shot previously in a row, backing down Rashawn Holmes, Harrison Barnes, whoever was in there, it was just a blender. It was a Jokic frenzy. Is there much else to say? You know my opinion. I think Nikola Jokic needs a bit more help. I've never said the Nuggets are a trash team, so you don't have to comment every single time they win a game saying, "Oh, has your opinion changed?" I've clearly said they're a good team, but you need to be a great team to win a championship. I don't think they're a great team. I think Nikola Jokic is one of the best 5 players in the league who deserves a supporting cast like all those other top 5 to 10 players in the league have. That's my opinion in short. And him dropping 50 points and them losing, I'm not going to even overreact to that because they were missing Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, PJ Dozier. Still think they could do with adding another player to the mix. But anyways, let's end on a positive note. Nikola Jokic dropped 50 points, 12 assists, 8 rebounds. Hassan Whiteside called him short. From that point onwards, Jokic scored about 20 consecutive points. So just be careful when you're trying to trash talk Jokic because it doesn't always end too well. The Los Angeles Clippers learned that because I think they were talking trash down 3-1, proceeded to lose that series.